So I open the door and I'm like, Mike, what?
Watch out!
And then a wave. And a tidal wave of crap just starts coming down the hallway. Like think The Shining with the two twins, but it was crap
the blood
sloshing
comes
down
through the
both
elevator
sides.
doors.
Everyone is suffering literally because of me.
Welcome to the Spencer Whiteout podcast. Rated R.
You have some criminal charges with you, bro. It's like we're avoiding the shark. Call it leather fetish, dude.
Yo, great turbo neck guy.
I'll give you a kiss. You give me your number.
That checked out a ton, dude. Tell me you felt.
We're Americans. We're the ones that are descendants from the 1776 musket-bearing motherfuckers.
Welcome back to the Spencer Whiteout podcast, episode number 12. This is a lighthearted conversation with my cousin Aaron Bartling, where we recount some of our embarrassing stories for your listening pleasure. Please enjoy our misfortunes. So the first thing that comes to mind when I think about this is you guys coming to visit on the holidays, because you guys lived in SoCal and you'd come up to NorCal to our place up in the woods, right?
Yeah.
A lot of airsoft, a lot of axe throwing with my dad, a lot of masculine stuff, right? You remember this?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty rad. And one of my earliest memories in general was Halo 1. You brought your Xbox.
Yeah.
It was insane, man.
Dude, it was amazing.
The gun sounds, the freaking lens flare. I remember that was like such an impressive thing. Driving to the edge of the ocean on the silent cartographer mission, and you'd finally hit the wall, you know,
and it was
you
like
could just breathe underwater.
It was like the graphics at that time were like revolutionary, you know, so we were just like mind blown.
Yeah, totally. And I remember my dad allowing it, even though it was an M game, because we were killing aliens, not people. You know?
Did we play multiplayer as well?
Probably.
Yeah,
but I remember also we would do co-op, and then we would, you know, when my dad wasn't looking, we would shoot the Marines. Because if you killed two Marines, then all the Marines would go against you and start trying to kill you. It was just the best.
If it was on like Legendary, it would be
actually
insanely
hard,
tough to kill those guys because there'd be like a million of them. But it was so
I loved that. And I actually talked to Abby, and Abby told me back in the day, you would pay Abby and Allison like 25 cents to play Halo with them, and they would be on one team and they couldn't even kill you once, right?
They were essentially just target practice. And it was just, but yeah, no,
totally.
True story, dude. True story.
Yeah, what was your favorite maps on Halo?
Favorite maps, dude, I gotta say Lockout.
Yes, Lockout.
Dude, Zanzibar. Do you remember Zanzibar with the huge fan? That was amazing. Foundation. You remember Foundation?
I don't remember Foundation, but I remember Hang 'em High.
Hang 'em High was great. That was a great one. Yeah, Hang 'em High.
And just like you turn on like infinite grenades or whatever, and you're just throwing them all across the map, and the grenades in Halo 1 are just so intense.
So fun.
Some other memories I have of you was the 3 CD changer. Do you remember this?
Oh, man.
You had a 3 CD changer, and you had TFK Phenomenon, Pillar, Where Do We Go From Here, and POD's self-titled album, and you would shuffle it, and we would play Halo, and we'd listen to
it was just
albums.
it was just a player, like
a CD player.
I don't think I remember that. That's crazy.
I remember it because it was a huge deal.
That's what's kind of getting you into like heavier music, right? Or hard music.
Yeah,
like,
dude, because you're 7 years older than me. Yeah. And so I was, 8 years old, and you're 15 or whatever. But then you burned me a CD, and I still have that CD, and it's the best. You burned me a CD with tracks from all those albums. There wasn't any POD on there because my dad said that was too heavy, too wild. Much, but Thousand Foot Crutch, they became one of my favorite bands, and I saw them multiple times, and that was super sick. Yeah. Another memory I have of you was the green backpack full of hair products.
Oh my gosh.
You had a hair
I don't
straightener.
Remember that.
Dude, how do you not remember these things? These are my foundational memories of you.
I don't remember the backpack, but I remember the hair stuff. Yeah, because it was like, that was the scene, was having the straight hair. You were straightening your hair. It was like
stud belts, barrels in your ear.
Yep.
Whatever else.
All that.
You never wore eyeliner, did you?
Never did the eyeliner.
Okay, but you wore women's jeans.
Yeah, they were tight. Yeah. And I had the chain. Do you remember the chain?
The chain? Like a wallet chain?
Yeah, the wallet chain.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, dude, I really appreciate the fact that you got me into heavier music, and it's so cool. We even got to go see For Today together.
Yeah,
that was fun on their last show. I wish we got to go to more shows together, but We got to talk about you screaming into the laptop in the closet.
Yes.
Aaronily,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Aaronily.
So there was a band that was at my church, and we started hanging out, and they had a band called Digital Panic. So they were like, hey, you know, we're looking for a vocalist. Obviously, I'm super into the scene, super into the music. You know, when I would be in my car, I would be singing and screaming. I would try to practice a lot and get decent that way. And so, yeah. And so
as we do.
So, yeah, dude, I had a buddy that was in Hawaii. He would make music. And so he made this metal song for me. He did all the guitars, and then everything else was programmed. He did the drums, he did the bass.
Is everything just like peaking, like gnarly? And
kind of, yeah. It wasn't like insane production at all.
Did you put bass drops in there? Were there any bass drops?
I think he had some bass drops. I think he had some 808s in there. So he sent it to me, and I paid for the song. Actually, I don't even think I paid for it. I think he was like, "Oh, it's gonna be $200," and I never paid. But yeah, so he sent the song, and then yeah, dude, I went into my sister's closet because it was the most
acoustic
room that there was. And then that's when I did, I had my little Mac laptop and I just screamed into the mic. So once that song was
done, your parents are all wondering what's going on.
Yeah, they're like, "What the heck?"
They're like, "Is he just working up the courage to come out of the closet? Like, what's going on here?"
So I did this song, and then I showed the band, and I was like, "Hey, here's a demo or whatever." And I think based off of that, they were like, "Oh man, he's decent," And then I tried out for this band, and then like it never went anywhere, but it was fun to say like, "Oh, I was part of a little band," because we would do band practice. Looking back though, I wish I would have done at least like one show, even if it was a little show, just for fun, just to say like, yeah, I did one show, but it was like always like all talk and nothing ever came from it.
Yeah, like even if you tell somebody though, like, yeah, I'm in a band, I was in a band, they're like, whoa,
they're like, that's cool.
Can I come to one of your shows? You're like, your shows are for wussies. We don't play shows. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
And another memory I have of you was Raptors around a watering hole. So at the fair, we went to the county fair. You know how the drinks are like $11 or whatever, and we were all like parched. I remember your mom like bought a soda, and then we got like 5 straws for you, me, Allison, Tiffany, and Abby, and then we stuck all the straws in there, and then we all just like swarmed it, and we were like, and the cup just like drained immediately, and you were like, "Dude, this is like Raptors around a watering hole." That's a classic line.
Yeah,
perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You're always joking around, Aaron. You're always saying "Nah, just kidding." You're always saying "Nah, just kidding," and it like it started with "No, just kidding," and then it was "Nah, just kidding," and then it was "Nish kidding." Nish kidding. I don't know what the next incarnation of that's going to be. Nishki.
Imagine just be like, no.
That's going to sound like you're trying to say something else, though.
Yeah. That's true.
I love that.
That's funny.
And the other thing we have in common, man, is we did YWAM. So tell people what YWAM is.
Yeah, so YWAM is Youth with a Mission, and they are basically just a Christian ministry that they do discipleship training, and then they do outreaches. So, if you're a Christian, you're going on like missions trips.
And if you're not a Christian, you're staying home.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't get to go.
You're staying home in the basement, and you're not
in the closet recording metal songs with all the heathens.
With your laptop.
Yeah, so I ended up going to LA and then to China. And where did you go?
So I did 2 different ones. The first one was when I was 18, and that one was in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
So I did they call it DTS, Discipleship Training School. And then the missionary part was in Jordan and Israel.
So Aaron, let's talk about how you decided to raise funds to go on this YWAM trip.
Yes. Okay. I apologize to the viewers because this is just the epitome of cringe. And just to give a little backsight into, I was a very ADD, bouncing off the walls. I guess you could say socially awkward, but just
unchained though, man.
To get back to the story, you have to fundraise to pay for all the expenses of the school and then to pay for the expenses of going, obviously, on the mission trip. I think I did some door-to-door asking for, for resources.
You're like, will you buy my CD?
Yeah. Will you buy my CD, please, bro? Yeah, I was like, you know what? I think one of the best courses of action would be to ask my church, obviously.
That would be appropriate.
Yeah, the first appropriate
But the way you went about it was not appropriate.
Beyond cringe. So, so since I was super into the military, so I shaved my head and I go up on stage and I'm in full military clothing with military boots and everything. And I go up there and I say, "Hey, everybody, I'm trying to go to the Middle East." And I kneel down and I say, like... and I started shooting like with a fake machine gun.
And this is a prop gun.
No, I didn't have a prop gun, but I'm pretending
guitar,
like
air shooting?
like air shooting, like with a machine gun. And so like I'm shooting out into the crowd, and the whole crowd is just dead silent.
Why are you shooting into the crowd?
Well, because I was trying to say like, oh, you know, like the Middle East, because like, you know, we had been at war with them or whatever. And so yeah, I was just like being ridiculous. And so, yeah, so I do that and the whole crowd is just like silent. No one says anything. Everyone's just looking at me like it's just super awkward. And I like, you know, I say my whole spiel. I go off stage. But the funny thing about it is when we look back is that I ended up getting fully funded after doing that, which was
That's
just
incredible.
like, was just hilarious.
Classic.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the juice you had while you were in Jordan.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like this orange juice, and I was like addicted to it. And I was just talking to my buddy about it, and he was like, "Dude, you drank like 8 or 10 of those like a day."
You blacked out. You don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. It had an orange flavor, but I just remember it being super, super sweet. Like if orange juice mixed with Airheads, like that's literally like how this juice was.
So then what ended up happening?
I don't know how you want me to lead into this, but, yeah. So basically, I suddenly just like I feel like I sharted possibly, and I need to get to the bathroom ASAP, or this is going to be bad. I remember running upstairs, and dude, of course, the bathroom was taken. And keep in mind, in the hostel, dude, it's like old rundown hostel, so there's not a lot of bathrooms, you know, and so it's like you got maybe a couple in there. And of course, right when I'm literally dying, I'm literally like clenching as hard as I can because I'm just gonna explode. And so like, so I'm pacing, dude. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm like, I go back
with your clenched butt cheeks.
Yes. So I go back to the room and I tell my buddy Steve, I'm like, dude, I gotta go, bro. Like, I'm literally like, I'm dying. And he was like, what are you gonna do? Like, and I was like, I don't know. I was like literally about to crap my pants. So, dude, I finally got to the point where I was literally sweating. I was holding out to the very last second, dude. And then finally, dude, I could not hold it any longer, and I let that bad boy free. And dude, I literally was an 18-year-old that fully just crapped his pants, bro. Like just soiled them to
just
the
locking
max.
eyes with your roommate. You're like, it's happening.
And I just, dude, I lost it, bro. And so, dude, my whole boxers absolutely destroyed. So get this, dude. So
get this.
I go into the bathroom. The person finally opened the door. I go into the bathroom, and I'm just like,
just to kind of clean up the aftermath.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to like salvage whatever I can, and I still
any scrap of boxers you can.
Yeah. I still had to go a little bit more after that. So like,
right.
So I like finally sit on my toilet.
Boxers couldn't hold all of it, so you just still had to go.
I still had to go, yeah. And then I look to the side, and I noticed there's no freaking toilet paper. So it wasn't like I really had like all these options or whatever. So yeah, so there's literally no toilet paper. So I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. So I'm wearing for whatever reason at the time, I'm wearing a nice button-up shirt, a Hawaiian shirt. I remember it was a nice button-up Hawaiian shirt.
You're like, this shirt's got leaves on it. Maybe this will work.
Yeah, I was like, hey, this is potentiality right here. So I unbutton my shirt, dude, and I take my pants off, and I literally used my nice Hawaiian shirt to wipe my legs, wipe my butt crack, like wipe everything, dude. And then what I did was I took all the clothes and the boxers and I put them in my shirt, and I kind of like tied it all up. So it was just like a big bag of just crap. The story goes on, bro. It doesn't end there. So from there, I take everything out, and I think I remember tossing the boxers. But dude,
you thought you could save the shirt? I thought
I could salvage the shirt. Because I thought I could salvage the shirt because it was a nice shirt. Like, it was literally a really nice button-up shirt.
Yeah, not after that.
No, yeah, and it had like stains obviously all over it. And my buddy was like, "You're joking, right? You're really gonna try to keep that?" And we literally had like a debate about it where I was like, "Dude, I think I can wash this. I can just wash it. The stains will come out." And he was like, "Dude, you're ridiculous. Like, you're really gonna try to keep that?" So I think I ended up, just deciding, hey, you know what? I'm just going to toss this thing. So I threw it away.
Yeah,
it was
rough,
one of those
man.
stories that was just like, it was the talk of basically like the rest of our trip. It was just hilarious.
That is gnarly.
Yeah.
When a shirt gets shat on, you can't save it. I mean,
No.
Luke Reed knows because his shoulder got shat on at the concert.
Oh, yeah.
Crowd surfer, a rogue crowd surfer. Yes, dude. He was wearing porous shorts, the basketball shorts, so it just kind of cheese grated out of there. It was rough.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know exactly what you're talking about. Also, when I went to China, dude, this is a story I was not planning on telling today, but it just came to mind, and I guess the world needs to know.
Let's hear it.
Warning. Entering graphic territory in 3, 2, 1.
Oh man, dude, I don't even know where to start this, but basically we were in China and we were going to go to another city for like a week. And my friend who was on the trip with me was like, oh dude, I'm going to do this pack a sack challenge. Like, hey, like only bring clothes that can fit into a brown paper bag, like an old school lunch bag. Basically you have enough room for like a toothbrush and maybe one pair of boxers. But this guy was like, dude, screw the boxers. I don't need to bring anything extra. So he just brought,
so he was like going to go commando?
Well, he's wearing a pair of boxers, but then he didn't bring any extra. So he just has his toothbrush and his Bible in his paper sack, you know? And then he got sick. We were in the room. Then he was like, oh my gosh. And he's in his boxers. And then he pushed the couch. And I saw it.
No.
Yes, I saw it come out as he's running to get up to go to the bathroom. It's like getting all over the couch.
Was it like
dribbling out?
Oh, dude.
That's his only pair of boxers.
That's so rough.
And I know this is graphic, me describing it, but like you have to understand the picture that I saw. It was so disturbing. Like I said, I wasn't planning on sharing this. I've never told anybody this story. And the only other person that knows about this is Erwin, because Erwin is there, and Erwin started cleaning it up because he had a servant's heart. Now, I don't know. He didn't want Eric to feel... Ooh, I said his name. He didn't want Eric to feel so bad, but... You know, it's all water under the bridge. It's all poop under the couch now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric pooped the couch.
Wow.
But you pooped the hallway. So can we talk about when you pooped the hallway?
Yes. Okay. So during this time, I was kind of in cahoots with my parents.
What does that mean?
They basically they kicked me out.
Betrayal.
So they kicked me out, and I was just kind of basically like couch surfing. I was literally going from like friend's house to friend's house.
After you poop on each couch, they're kicking you out.
Yeah, exactly. So I let's see. Yeah, I was staying with a friend, and one of these nights, like, we're gonna have a few buddies come over. We're gonna have like a movie night or something. So I had diarrhea. So I'm using a lot of toilet paper, and it starts clogging up the toilet. So I didn't really know like a lot of stuff. I feel like until later on in life, for whatever reason, I didn't learn a lot of stuff. So I clogged the toilet,
and you're thinking if you just keep flushing it, it'll go down.
Instead of waiting for the water to go down, like obviously, right? Like I just kept flushing, and it kept obviously rising.
So like, I gotta flush it faster.
Yeah. Like I don't know what I was thinking.
So you just
dude.
keep flushing this
I just
thing.
kept going, dude. I kept flushing it. Okay, you know how behind the toilet, how you have the knob that turns the water off? So obviously that would have fixed the problem, right? You just turn the pump off and you're good, right? I didn't know that. And it starts overflowing, bro. And I'm literally freaking out. My friends are in the other room, and they're like talking. They have no idea what's going on. And so the water is just pouring out, and I'm looking around, I'm scrambling, like thinking like, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do? Like that's like a scary thing. You know, you're staying with your friend and you're like potentially ruining
and it's about to flood and you don't have an arc, you know? It's just what are you going to do?
And so I opened the door, and the water was getting pretty far, like already like moving towards the door. And I opened the door and I yell out, and I'm like, Mike, like I yelled to my buddy. And my buddy like looks over, and he's like, "What?
Like, watch out!"
And then a wave, and a tidal wave of crap just starts coming
just
down the
takes him
hallway.
out.
Like think The Shining with the two twins, but it was crap coming, just
the blood
sloshing
comes
down
through the
both
elevator
sides.
doors. Yeah.
So he runs in there, and he knew what to do, and he
dives
immediately
in.
turns it off.
His nostrils barely on top of the water.
Yeah, just barely surviving. So at this point, though, the water had come out so much that it started going into the carpet. So he's opening their like laundry room and he's grabbing towels and he's like, dude, just put towels down. So we're putting towels down and we're just like trying to soak up all the water with the crap. Dude, it was just like the most humiliating, most embarrassing, most just like, I didn't even know what to say. I wanted to create a black hole and just crawl inside of it and just disappear. You know, I just wanted to disappear because I was just so embarrassed.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got one recently that happened at Chain Reaction. We call this one the Chain Reaction Mystery Smear. And so basically, I work at Chain Reaction now, the music venue, great place. And I'm outside doing the ticketing, whatever, and I see this brown smear on the door.
No.
And I'm like, what is that? You know, my boss comes running out. He's like, Spencer, do you see this? And I'm like, yeah, I was noticing that. He's like, okay, we need to just let all the staff know. Don't touch that. Don't try to clean it off. We're going to have to get the hose out here and all this. And I'm like, what is it? What happened? Yeah. And he's like, dude, I don't want to say, like, let me just show you. No. He pulls out his phone. He shows me security camera footage from the night before. And a homeless dude had taken a dump, picked it up and started smearing it across our front door.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And then my boss is all saying like, maybe this is like, you know, in his messed up mind, he's thinking he's the angel of death or whatever. Like, you know, he's you're going to kill the firstborn son unless you have the lamb's blood smeared across the door frame. Yeah. So it's just the homeless man poop across the door frame.
That is rough. Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a story of biblical proportions, I guess. But so let's talk about trial by fire.
So this is a P story.
This is a P story.
Yeah, we can touch on that. I was in the Army, but it was basically like one of our last training sections before finishing basic. And we were staying at this place. It was very rural, lots of trees, rundown shacks, and they're all used for like training purposes, you know. We stayed there for a few nights, but one of the first nights, all the drill sergeants told us, hey, if you guys need to use the latrine's a bathroom, you got to go all the way over there. Of course, it's like super far. It can't just be some convenient close by bathroom or whatever. So these little shacks that we're staying in, they're like run down. It's literally like holes all in them. You literally had grass growing like mildew and just they were rancid. So that's what we were sleeping in at night. And me and a couple other guys in the middle of the night, we had to do the fire watch. And I had to pee super bad. And I wasn't going to go all the way over to these latrines or whatever. So we end up finding like a corner in the building, and keep in mind, everyone's asleep. And so I just thought I was like, I can get away with this. Like I can just pee in the corner of this building. No one's going to know. So I do it, dude. I start peeing into the corner and no one says anything. And, like everyone's asleep. You know, I'm thinking like, oh, cool, I'm going to get away with it. So, I pee in the corner. I love
how stoked you are on this.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Now I don't have to go. Now I don't have to walk super far. I can just like pee, cool, and then go back to my, doing what I was doing. So next day comes around and it's our day to leave. We're leaving this like training area or whatever. So our drill sergeants, they come into the shack that we're staying in, and the drill sergeants are like, why does it smell like piss in here? Well, I don't know, drill sergeant. Everyone's just kind of like playing dumb. And when he said that, my heart dropped. I was like terrified. I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get called out? So I thought that I got away with this and that no one knew. Well, come to find out, there was people that had been talking. Oh yeah, I know such and such and such and such. Like they took a piss in the corner and they didn't go over or whatever. So word was getting around, and
someone saw you.
And my name got thrown into the mix. That like, oh, Bartling, yeah, he was one of them or whatever.
Wait, he was one of them. Multiple people did this.
Multiple people did it. So then we go to a company formation, right? All these soldiers, all these privates, were all standing in line, and the drill sergeants start saying, okay, last night, some individuals were peeing in the corners of these shacks and we can smell it. We know that you guys did. And I'm thinking like, oh my gosh. And keep in mind, like, this is a whole company. So this is a ton of people, and so I'm like thinking like, what are they going to say? What are they going to do? They're like, you know who you are that did it. You better step forward right now and, you know, admit that you were the one that did it. And so like, we're all standing in formation, like, you know, I'm not moving, I'm not saying anything. And I'm like terrified because if I admit to doing it, I'm going to get absolutely smoked. You know, like I'm going to like do 1,000,000 push-ups, whatever. So this is the most Blue Falcon thing that I could have ever done. And then looking back, so terrible of me to do this, but I was trying to save my own skin. I was trying to just, you know, not get caught, and it was pretty messed up. But the drill sergeant ended up saying, okay, hey, since no one is admitting to this, no one is saying who's culprit, you guys are all going to drop and do push-ups. And so you have a whole company and everybody in the front leaning rests, and we all start doing push-ups. And it just keeps going. Like, it just keeps going and going and going. And they're like, you guys are just going to keep pushing until someone admits to who did it. And the whole time I'm thinking like, dude, we're going to literally be out here all day. I didn't want to tell. I didn't want to fess up. And so we just kept on going and going. And like, I felt like the worst person because everyone around me.
You were making everyone
is suffering literally. I mean, I wasn't the only one, but I was one of them, and everyone is suffering because of me.
Betrayal.
Literally because of me. You know, like I wasn't man enough to admit.
They're still doing push-ups to this day.
They probably are, dude. Yeah, exactly.
So I just want to give a quick thank you to Aaron for coming on this podcast. He's actually a very busy man. He's a well-established comic book artist who's done work for DC Comics, Ninja Turtles, Joker, Ghost Rider, and the list goes on. If you'd like to check out his work, I've got his links in the description. Thanks again for listening. More episodes coming soon. Stay tuned, stay hyped. That's a wrap.
Inserting exclusive audio recording from the vault.
Wait, is this where I know already?
No, you don't know it. That's why this is so good. Okay.
Okay, I'm excited. Yeah, so I thought it was sort of...
Okay, Hannah. This happened at your guys' wedding. Okay, you ready for this?
Oh. That stuff?
Yes. So
okay,
we're there, right? And everyone's...
got toast.
No. Better. We're all sitting there, right? And then we stand up because you are coming in. The bride is coming in. And you know how you came through like a horse and buggy or whatever?
Yeah.
You came through a horse and buggy, and you get out, and you're in your full glory, and you start walking, and everyone is standing up being like, wow. And then Papa goes, oh, beautiful horse.
Like loud?
Yeah.
Like everyone...
We all heard it. We all started laughing. We were trying to be quiet, dude.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So offensive to the bride. But it's so funny, dude.
Classic
Papa. He's checking out the horse. He's like, wow, beautiful horse.
Dude, that's so good.
Like, doesn't surprise me.
No.
And that's it.